Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jim Kelly from another video. Today I'm coming at you with some more VGC 17 battles here on the battle spot using the Tapu Koko Pelipper Rain team that I developed. And we're gonna get straight into it. These battles have been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying them quite a bit. I'll tell you guys now, and I'm sure it's gonna be a tele video. I have come to know the meta of this VGC up until now. I mean, it usually changes, but I have definitely come to know it. So my opponent had a team of Oranguru, Tapu Koko, Crocodile, Alolan Marowak, Celestia, and the Goodra. And this Oranguru is one of the most meta Pokemon I have ever seen if I've ever laid my eyes upon it. For those of you who don't know, he gets access to Instruct, which essentially lets a Pokemon use the same move twice in one turn. So a lot of times people use it with some Pokemon that's got usually Choice Specs or Choice Band, and they'll have it move and then you'll Instruct. It also gets access to Trick Room, which is nice. So let's see you set up the sweepers with the slow Pokemon. So I'd opt to bring in the Polysand here to deal with the Tapu Koko, since it's got Sludge Bomb, to deal with the Alolan Marowak, since it is going to be a physical attacker, to deal with the Crocodile. And I'll be able to get super effective stab on the, or not the, I actually learned Oranguru is part normal. I learned that in this battle. So here, there's not much he can do to stop my Tapu Koko and Pelipper, except for the Crocodile, excuse me. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're getting challenged here by Tony. So he leads with Oranguru and Tapu Koko, which I find to be a very interesting lead. And I go with Tapu Koko and Pelipper here, just my typical lead. And at this point, I'm getting a little scared because Tapu Koko mine's really fast. If his is max speed, his will outspeed my Pelipper, and he'll be able to one-shot me, especially since the train is up. So this first turn, he actually switches to Tapu Koko, which surprised me. And he goes in the Marowak, so I'm here like, oh yeah, this thing's probably got Lightning Rod. But I just went for the Dazzling Gleam here just to get some spread damage off. I was fearing a potential Protect. So I go for the usual. I'm like, oh, if only I went for the Scald into the Tapu Koko slot. But I get some nice damage off on the Oranguru. And I go into my Polysand here since he does have the Marowak out. And both my stabs will be super effective on, and he just goes straight up for the Trick Room. Like, oh crap, it's a Trick Room team. So that means this Tapu Koko is most likely a little bit slower, but this Marowak is also a huge problem. I protect you with Tapu Koko, thinking maybe he's going to go for an Earthquake, since Oranguru does get access to Telepathy, but he just goes straight up for the Shadow Ball. I'm like, holy moly, that did a lot of damage. Luckily, I am very physically defensive, and this Earth Power is going to be more than enough to pick up the knockout on this Marowak, which is fan-freaking-tastic. So here comes the Instruct from the Oranguru, so thank goodness I took that thing out. So that thing was most likely Choice Band, since it is pretty strong, but that was most likely a Choice Band based on that damage. So we're going to see the Crocodile come in here. I'm like, oh crap. So he's going to be able to deal some damage to me. I'm also scared of the Earthquake here, since the Trick Room is up. His Crocodile technically is faster than mine, or it's going to move first. That's why I go in the Pelipper here. I think he's going to go for an Earthquake. And I protect Polysand, trying to get some leftovers recovery. And we see Psychic, which goes into Protect. And we also see the Rock Slide. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So he was either predicting the switch, or he's hoping for Instruct flinches, or he doesn't have a ground type, which is also a possibility. So I'm put into an interesting position here. My Pelipper took exactly half, so depending on the roll. So here he switches out his Crocodile. He might have been thinking that I was slower than him, because mine, for those of you who don't know, mine is Choice Scarf. So I might have been thinking that mine is slower than his. And so that might have been why he switched out, because there was technically no need for him to do it. So we're going to bring the Oranguru down to the Citrus Berry. I was predicting this Psychic to go into him, so like, I'll just get some damage off. There's no point in keeping him around. I mean, he will do damage against Tapu Koko, but at this point, I'm not going to be able to, I'm at 2 HP. So we do about 40% Tapu Koko. We also get the Burn, which isn't going to make too big of a difference, because Scald still is not a 2-hit KO. So I reveal my last Pokemon here, which is Kartana, which is going to be able to resist the Psychic type moves and also the electric type moves and fairy. So I bring in my Tapu Koko here, predicting an electric type move to go into that slot, and I protect with Kartana. So interestingly enough, he went for the psychic into the Pelipper slot, which is an alright move, but he also goes for discharge. So we're going to see the telepathy on the Ringu, but I feel like he should have gone for because the discharge would afford the Pelipper. So maybe he was predicting that switch. It would have been a good prediction by him. So here, pretty much everything's going to wear off. The rain just went away. The Trick Room expired, and the electric terrain is going to disappear, which isn't too big of a deal since I do have my Kartana on the field. So he switches in his Crocodile, but it's going to get the Intimidate off, which is only going to affect the Kartana, but Tapu Koko isn't strong enough to be able to take anything. So I go for Taunt here into the Rangoon slot because I didn't want him to set up a Trick Room because that's the only way he can end up winning this. So I just go straight up for the Leaf Blade there just in case he was going to switch in that Crocodile. I just want to be able to pick up the knockout. So, and we're going to get Beast Boost, so that's going to put us back at that's going to reverse the effects of the Intimidate essentially. And the Oranguru is going to come in. So here I'm like, okay, there are some. I mean, he could protect the Crocodile, and a whole bunch of like bad stuff could happen if he gets the Trick Room up. But he actually outspeeds here, so I'm like, oh, he's Choice Scarfed. So I finally find out at the end. So that's why I go for the Taunt here into the Oranguru, so that he couldn't set up that Trick Room. And I also go for the Leaf Blade into the Crocodile. And that's more, because I was just thinking, if Crocodile protected and he set up the Trick Room, that would have been really bad for me. But he didn't have Protect, obviously, because he was Choice Scarf. So I was just kind of ensuring my victory there. Going either, if he went for Protect Trick Room, he wouldn't have gotten it off. And if he didn't Protect, his Crocodile was gone, and he's left with the Ring Room. He just ends up forfeiting there. So I think that was like a 3-0. Numbers 3-0, 4-0, 1-0, 0-0. As long as I win, it's a win. So Oranguru, a very powerful Pokemon. It scares me every time I see it. On my team, I do run the double taunt option. I should say I have 2 Pokemon that no taunt. I have Weavile and Tapu Koko. So even if it does carry the Mental Herb, so in this case he was carrying the Citrus Berry. Sometimes they carry the Mental Herb. So if I taunt one with the Mental Herb, it's kind of for nothing, and he just sets up the Trick Room anyways. But if I can go for the double taunt, then it's a lot better. So next battle, my opponent had a very similar team to the first one. You see the Oranguru still there. He also has Torkoal, Araquanid, Tapu Bulu, Celestia, just like the other guy. And his last one was Alolan Marowak. So a very similar team. Alolan Marowak, Oranguru, Torkoal, Celestia. So this one, the Torkoal Oranguru combination is really powerful because Torkoal can wear an Overheat, or it can be bred onto him, I should say. And he also gets access to Heat Wave, so imagine just an Eruption, base 150 power Eruption, Sun boosted, and then getting Instructed. That's some serious damage. So I definitely bring the Pelipper here to be able to nullify those Fire type moves. And I bring Weavile here. I lead with Weavile, like I was saying, just so I could potentially get a double taunt off on the Oranguru if it's carrying the Mental Herb. And he's also got access to the Fake Out. So it's going to be a pretty interesting battle. This one's quite the interesting battle. Pokemon Trainer Sebastiano. So he's going to lead with Oranguru and Torkoal, a very standard lead. It's kind of like my lead where I lead with Tapu Koko, Pelipper, but in this case, I don't want to lead with Pelipper since I know I'm going to outspeed the Torkoal, which means that I'm going to set up the rain, and since this Torkoal is slower than mine, his ability is going to activate after me, and the sun's going to get set up in the end. So there is no point in setting up the rain, because Torkoal is going to be able to change that. So I go for Fake Out here into the Oranguru so that he can't Fake Out, and I also go for the Taunt so that if he does have the Mental Herb, next turn I can go for another taunt. Well, he doesn't even have the Mental Herb. He just goes straight up for the Heat Wave. I'm like, oh boy. Tapu Koko barely hangs on with 6 HP. And Weavile is brought down to its Focus Sash. And the Oranguru is flinched. So, and we do see the Life Orb on the Torkoal, which is good to confirm that it's good to know that it's not Choice Specs. And he's just going to go straight up for the Protect. I go for the Z move here. I was debating whether or not that Torkoal was going to go for Protect or not. since I mean I am at low HP as it is, but so I was like I don't want to waste my Z crystal by not using it. So I just go straight up for it. So he did protect, so he's going to take reduced damage, but this is still going to deal a respectable amount of damage thanks to stab and electric terrain and everything. So it brings him down just below 50%. And I also go for Pursuit onto the Oranguru. It's going to do a decent amount, about 50-60%. And he's going to eat up that citrus. So luckily he is taunted, so he can't go for Instruct, which he wouldn't have wanted to go for this turn. But just in the future. So Tapu Koko is going to go down from a Psychic. So it's not too bad for me, since now I can bring my Pelipper and set up the Rain. And the Trick Room's not up, so I definitely outspeed his Torkoal. So at this point, he's in a tough spot, because I did show that my Weavile is carrying Pursuit. So he's going to withdraw a Oranguru. I went for Pursuit into the Oranguru slot, predicting that it was probably going to be the most likely of the two to switch out. And also, if he did switch out, it was going to pick up the knockout. With Torkoal, I didn't know if I was going to pick up the knockout. So he's going to switch out the Torkoal into the Araquanid. And I went for Scald in that slot, the obvious play. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm scarfed. Otherwise, I could have, or if I would have predicted it and I went for the Hurricane, that would have been some insane plays. But Torkoal's going to come back in. And out here, I was like, that's an interesting play on his part, because Torkoal's not the bulkiest of Pokemon, especially defensive. But so here I go for something. This is actually a pretty key play right here. I went for the taunt into the Araquanid because I didn't know if Torkoal was gonna protect or not, and I was actually thinking this Scald was gonna pick up the knockout, and it didn't. It brings him down super low, but the taunt onto the Araquanid makes it to where now it can't set up or protect, which is very important. So he gets a Heat Wave off, and that's gonna bring me down really low, and he's actually gonna knock himself out from Life Orb Recoil. So now, I mean, I'm in a bad spot because now my Pelipper is locked in the Scald. If it was locked in the Hurricane, especially now we see Tapu Bulu, I'm like, oh crap, because if I was locked in the Hurricane, that'd pretty much be game, except for the Sun's Up. But I'm still in a good spot here. So what's key here? The Araquanid is taunted, so it can't go for Protect. So I was predicting the Tapu Bulu to go for a Protect here. So I'm like, the 100% risk-free play is just to go for the Leaf Blade into the Araquanid. Tapu Bulu, I resist both the stabs. I quad resist his Grass Stab, and I resist his Fairy Stab. So there's nothing this Tapu Bulu can do to me. So you see, I'm just in perfect position right now. I'm at +1, Tapu Bulu. I go for Scald. I'm locked into Scald. This is going to break a potential Focus Sash. And we also get the burn. Woohoo! Not that big of a deal. The game's already over. I just go for the Smart Strike. And that's going to be more than enough to pick up the knockout on this Tapu Bulu. So, a pretty close one in my opinion. I mean, unfortunately, like if I would have won that and I would have won with the Rain up and I was going for Hurricanes, that would have been an easy win. But Taunt coming in clutch, not necessarily on the Oranguru, but more like on that Araquanid when it was just that's one thing I like is a lot of people use it against Pokemon like with Prankster and stuff. But it's also good against regular Pokemon because it prevents him from using Protect. So that's kind of what sealed the deal for me right there. And also the taunt earlier on Oranguru was also good because it prevented him from instructing. He didn't obviously instruct or Trick Room turn 1, but I guess he could have, but he wasn't unable to thanks to the fake out and the taunt. So I enjoy this team. This is definitely meta right here. I mean, Oranguru, Torkoal, Celesteela. Luckily, I have Tapu Koko, which I haven't faced off against a single Celesteela yet. I scare him off with Tapu Koko just because a Thunder will one-shot them, I'm pretty sure. And if not, Gigavolt Havoc will. So I'm enjoying this. VGC 17, I've said it before, it's going to be a very interesting format. I think they already had the international championships in Europe or something like that. So I haven't watched too much about that. But I heard Salamence with the Dragon Z Stone, the Z Crystal was very common. But yeah, I'm going to keep on coming at you guys with these. I really enjoy this format. It's interesting for now. It's going to be interesting to see how the format evolves over time. But I'm going to be using this team for a week or two and then make some changes or build a completely new team. I don't know yet. But if you guys want to battle me, go ahead and let me know. If you got any suggestions for me, also go ahead and let me know. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.